Jason Whitlock. I said that name. It's not a name I've uttered. I normally don't do that, but it's necessary to do now. I've had enough of that fat bastard. That piece of shit. Ah, my new book on paperback. I like it. I like it a lot. It works for me. It works for me. Y'all see this.
But walk me through this and walk yourself through it. 1.5 points per game. How do you average that in one game? Is there a 1.5 pointer in Division II basketball? How do you do it? It can't be done. See, it can't be done. It's comical.
This is about to go viral.
Practice.
Bruh. I can't explain.
But I have never lied to you. Ever. I didn't play high school ball, even though my coach's name was Harvey Stoller. It was Thomas A. Edison Vocational and Technical High School. I played there my senior year. I was in a basketball tournament at Fashion Institute of Technology where I dropped 27 points and got a scholarship because the coach came calling me after that and what have you. But I have never lied to you. Ever. You bitch. Did you tell him? You fat piece of shit.
Memoir. He then, at another point in the conversation, cries on Molly Qerim's shoulder this morning. Play the clip.
One other thing, there are people out there lying and actually putting out there that I didn't write my book. I can assure you, so help me God, I wrote my book. It's my memoir. It's my life story. I wasn't leaving that in the hands of
would
other
you
people.
ignore
So
people?
say
You
that.
wrote for
Just
a living.
lies.
You were a columnist for many years. Don't even don't even acknowledge
No, I'm just
that.
saying. I'm just saying. You just.
Yeah, you're better than that. Let's go.
Let's go. No, you can acknowledge it. It's okay. You just
Stephen
point out how they're lying.
And I know exactly who you're talking about. But why does it bother him? You're not going to buy the book. You're not going to read the book. So why do you care? You spend so much time. People spend so much time worried about other people and what they're doing in their lives. If you realize how little people actually cared about you, you start worrying about them.
Yeah. Listen, people lie about me all the time.
Molly throws in, she lets God fight her battles, and Stephen A. did as well. Shannon, I would like to correct you. I did buy the book. I did read the book. I've read books and done review of books throughout my career as a journalist. And so I understand that a lot of these ex-athletes that have success in the media don't understand journalism and don't understand what journalists do.
Okay, we've been seeing what's been going on in the internet world. Since Katt Williams went to Club Shay and dropped that phenomenal interview, which, by the way, that interview is like at 40-something million. I seen Shay, a.k.a. Shannon Sharp, and Ocho Cinco, a.k.a. Chad Ocho, you feel me? Chad Johnson, that is, Cincinnati's great legend right there. Put him in the Hall of Fame already, even though he inducted himself with the jacket. We seen what was going on with that, bro. They said they didn't know they were going to be the most viral ever because it's 50-something million views, and it took Joe Rogan 4 years for that video. It's going to take Club Shay less than a month to become the most viral video ever on YouTube as far as that type of interviews.
And I leave it alone. And one of the other things that I never do, I never attack my colleagues. I might disagree with something somebody says or does, and I might have an obligation to speak on it because it's in the news or whatever, but I don't speak against my colleagues.
I'm here. I told y'all.
The internet says that you wanted Max Kellerman off the program. I saw him say goodbye the other day. You called in. You had a sleep apnea surgery, which I want to get into a little bit just to learn a little bit about you a little bit more. But it didn't seem like you and Max had a bad relationship at all. So where do those rumors come from? And what's the truth with the departure of Max Kellerman from First Take?
Well, the rumor's accurate in terms of me wanting him off the show. Let's get that out the way. Yes, I did.
Shay less than a month to become the most viral video ever on YouTube as far as that type of interview standpoint. So it broadened the horizons of Jason Whitlock to do the same thing. See, a lot of you people who's criticizing Jason Whitlock, you're not doing one thing. You're not talking about the actual receipts he presented. You ain't
released a memoir in 2023 called Straight Shooter. I read it. It's farcical. When I listened to Katt Williams talk about Kevin Hart and Steve Harvey, my mind immediately drifted to Stephen A. Smith's memoir. Smith's story just doesn't add up. He, or his ghostwriter, claims he received a full basketball scholarship from Winston-Salem State after a one-day tryout in February of 1988. A former Winston-Salem State basketball player allegedly drove Smith from New York to North Carolina for a tryout after Smith impressed the former player during a one-on-one matchup on a playground court.
You're not talking about the actual receipts he presented. You ain't talking about the actual stats he put about Stephen A. Smith. And I noticed Stephen A. Smith keep trying to downplay Jason Whitlock as nothing, insignificant, and he can't measure up to what Stephen A. Smith has measured up on his ESPN escapades. You see what I'm noticing? Stephen, you did 4 damn responses to Jason Whitlock, a.k.a. fat bastard you keep referencing.
You bitch. Did you tell him? You fat piece of shit. People out there that want me. Now, there's a lot of people out there that want me to address other names. There's one particular person who will remain nameless, and I will not deny it. I think he's a fat, no-good bastard who I despise to the core.
On his the Jason Whitlock, a.k.a. fat bastard you keep referencing. I've noticed majority of people, when they don't got nothing to touch on, what you just said to obliterate them, they make names, they throw jabs at you, talk about things that got nothing to do about the topic or the actual matter at hand. Notice his defenders negate the fact to not stick to subject, because we're gonna break it down, not stick to the actual point. Who is Stephen A. Smith? And why would he lie about playing on a basketball team, going the big, what is it, the Big George, whatever the dude's name is, Big House something, his mentor, from that said so college basketball team. Here's the thing, bro. It does matter. It does matter when you're trying to go deep into this industry, deep into these puppets. The puppet master keep dropping here and say, here, he's just like one of you guys. He worked hard. He went through the blah, 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 the typical sketch. But you should be asking, why would somebody even have to lie about his credentials? Why would somebody go out the way with the credentials? Did you guys remember they took those 4 basketball so-called teammates of Stephen A. Smith and they brought them to ESPN? This was like 2, 3, 4 years ago, whatever.
Stephen A. almost 5 years. You know, he's pretty big time. He's the star, the alpha, but I really wonder what he was like in college, and that's why we just surprised him. Let's throw it over to Stephen A. Can you please introduce your longtime friends and teammates?
Well, first of all, you ain't gonna find out too much, because each and every one of these boys know better than talking about
me publicly like this, okay? So you better mind your manners. Don't be telling all the secrets, all right? These are my teammates from Winston-Salem State, a few of them from the basketball team at Winston-Salem State. Pretty boy Phil Hayes is the one here right now. What's up, Phil?
What's good, Steve? Congratulations, brother. Proud of you, man.
How is it that after all of these years, you still look the same?
Living in the Hamptons, baby.
He's a model, too. This is ridiculous, man. Bye, man. My man, Phil Hayes. Appreciate you. Love your boy. Monte Ross, former assistant coach of St. Joe's, former head coach at Delaware. I don't want to tell your business. I can tell now where you're going to be at. Temple University, you're going to be assistant coach at Temple University. Still a politician.
That was our job. We did a good job, right?
I'll deal with you later.
Yeah.
So just think about what you just saw. And if you haven't connected the dots, those are just the first three teammates. Stephen A. Smith is 6'1". Them first three guys that he just showed.
4 basketball so-called teammates of Stephen A. Smith, and they brought them to ESPN. This was like 2, 3, 4 years ago, whatever. Each one of those dudes had a deer in the headlight look. Almost like we're watching a Manchurian Candidate with, I think it was with Denzel, and I forgot who the other actor was. It's like these dudes had like a look on their face, a facial expression like they've been paid, and they don't really know who the hell Stephen A. Smith is besides watching him on TV.
Just think about what you just saw. And if you haven't connected the dots, those are just the first three teammates. Stephen A. Smith is 6'1". Them first three guys that he just showed you, he's towering over all of them. Stephen A. played on a midget basketball team. He's towering over all of them. This is a college basketball team. The Monte Ross guy checks out because he does do a little coaching, really, at Winston-Salem State, other than a 6'2" guard that they were bringing to Winston-Salem State. There was an art, and I think it got
made, and they don't really know who the hell Stephen A. Smith is besides watching him on TV. All these dudes were like 5'7", 5'5". The tallest had to be only 5'8.5". I'll give him 5'9" if you guys are being lucky, Ghost. And these were his college teammates. These were his teammates in college. This is a college basketball team where it appears to be the tallest player was Stephen A. Smith, who's 6'1". And that's not nothing to talk about, nothing to go get into. People are doing their homeworks, going through the loopholes. You're finding paperwork, but it's showing you that it's a different Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen Smith listed on that stat sheet that says he played 9 games. And I believe it says he averaged 1.5 points. And I believe that's probably where ESPN reached the conclusion in that November 2022 segment that like, oh, this is Stephen A. Smith's senior year. These are his stats. Let's put it up. And that's why Stephen A., if you go back and rewatch he looks so uncomfortable. Maybe no one told him because everyone just bought the assertions, the lies, the insinuations that Stephen A. Smith played basketball at Winston-Salem State. And so ESPN said, well, here's Stephen Smith. Here's a guy that played 9 games. This coincides with when Stephen A. Smith says he was in college. This must be Stephen A. Smith.
Is a different Stephen A. Smith? Maybe it's a typo, it's the same name, but when you go furthermore into it, it's not the man that you see on television. And if this was a mere nothing, just Jason Whitlock chasing clout as usual, why on God's given earth would Stephen A. and all his groupies get so mad at a man just asking a question, Stephen A. Smith? Can you help us out with who you are? Where did this come from? This story of you averaging 1.5. No, we got to talk about this, bro.
We're coming off college hoops, guys. Yeah. So I do want to show you all a little something. I got a little something to show you here. Before we dig into the NBA, take a look at this blind resume here. It's 3 players. Their scoring average in each person's final college season. Do we have any guesses who this might be? Jalen, who do you think? What is this?
Nah, this is hilarious. JJ's on the right.
It's our starting lineup from tonight.
Well, they're not telling us I only played 1 game because I cracked my kneecap in half, but that's neither here nor there.
That is neither here.
Look and hear what Stephen A. Smith just said on national TV. They put his senior year stats up. Everybody's giggling, and you can tell Stephen A's pretty uncomfortable early on. He ain't in on the joke, or maybe no one warned him. I don't know. He tried to loosen up at the end. But then at the end, he says, what they not telling y'all is I only played 1 game because I cracked my knee. And then, so look, I'm not good at math. Math is not my strength. I was a writer, and I struggle. I use both my hands and toes to count. But walk me through this and walk yourself through it. 1.5 points per game. How do you average that in 1 game?
Hey, Smith, can you help us out with who you are? Where did this come from, this story of you averaging 1.5? No, we got to talk about this, bro. You went to a tryout. You barely was even on any of your high school teams. According to you, sir, you got removed for this reason, you left for that reason, but you never go in full detail about that.
Play that. This is Stephen A. Smith explaining his college basketball career.
Let's get the basketball stuff out of the way. I'm sick and tired of people lying about my basketball resume. Ladies and gentlemen, when I say that I wasn't great, I'm talking about compared to greatness. I was good enough to get a basketball scholarship. I was good enough to get my education paid for with 2 bad knees. They talk about I averaged 1.5 points a game. I saw some article on social media. That's a lie. It was less. See that? You didn't know I was going to say that, did you? It was less than that. It's a lie. How about 0? Because I never played, because I cracked my kneecap in half. I got operated on at Wake Forest University.
So, Stephen A. Smith is now saying it's a lie that he played any games at Winston-Salem State. That's what he said in August of 2023. In November of 2022, he told the lie. In his book, he insinuates the lie that he occasionally played. And then what's even more just bizarre, and I don't have an answer for any of this. I don't know. I can't, and I've been looking. I can't get to the bottom of any of Stephen A. Smith's alleged high school, college, junior college basketball career. But he's now saying he never played in any game because he cracked his knee. Let's put up the image of the
from Winston-Salem State, which is where my colleague Stephen A. Smith went to school. Is this correct?
This is correct. Wait, you went to school?
He did go to school.
I did not know he went to school.
Take a look at that photo. Woo!
Stephen A.
That's right, Stephen A. Throwback. So an cutout of Mr. Basketball. We need the basketball.
Is that life size? It looks like he shrunk a little since college, right?
Please. Hey, that's how it goes sometimes.
No,
it's
it
all
still
right.
looks
Those
similar.
are my days. Hey, listen.
It's still the same.
Uncovered that while playing at Winston-Salem State,
Yes.
While trying to play,
uncovered that
For Mr. Stephen A. Smith.
our research uncovered that while playing at Winston-Salem State,
Yes.
while trying to play,
you shot too many threes. You missed too many threes, which doesn't surprise me at all because now you talk too much and you miss way too many points, right?
You You went to a tryout. You barely was even on any of your high school teams. According to you, sir, you got removed for this reason, you left for that reason, but you never go in full detail about that. Save that thought about why he keeps transferring and leaving high schools. We'll get back to that because it makes perfect sense. This man makes a college basketball team. I don't care if it's Division III, Division II, Division I. Every one of these type of elite backgrounds of basketball organization is hard to make to establish your name. But when he makes the team, it was during the basketball season, during February, where most teams are getting ready for their conference tournaments and having hopes of being in that Cinderella March Madness. You know what I'm saying? But during this time, Big House sees Stephen A. doing a tryout on a Sunday, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, a tryout on a Sunday.
Argues that he played a month or two of high school basketball and never really played. He played a month or two of junior college basketball and never really played. And then somehow in February of 1988, a former Winston-Salem State basketball player puts him through a playground workout in New York City. A playground workout in New York City in February. Check your weather calendar. February, New York City. Stephen A., according to his book, is going through a playground tryout. He's going through a workout with some guy that played at Winston-Salem State years ago on an outdoor playground in New York City. He wants us to believe that. And the guy is so impressed that he's like, oh my God. Stephen A., next weekend, this is according to the book, I'm going to come pick you up and drive you down to Winston-Salem, North Carolina for a tryout with Big House Games. I'm reading this and I'm going, holy cow. Who is serving this up and who is believing it and why?
Hey, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, a tryout on a Sunday, a one-day tryout. Never fucking heard of that in basketball. And even if you've heard of a one-day tryout, but look at how he went to that tryout and got selected out of all the other people. And fuck all that. How are you even having a tryout during the season? What sense does that make? It's not like a recruiting visit during the season, during the time frame. But guess what else he does during this mythical tryout? He shoots 17 threes in a row. Big House is so glamored and enormed by what he does, he offers him a full scholarship.
I didn't play high school ball. Even though my coach's name was Harvey Stoller, it was Thomas A. Edison Vocational and Technical High School. I played there my senior year. I was in a basketball tournament at Fashion Institute of Technology where I dropped 27 points and got a scholarship because the coach came calling me after that and what have you.
This is bad. No warm up. You warmed up. You warmed up.
I'm gonna give you some good passes too.
Oh.
Oh.
2 hours later.
Hold on. Let's do that. That's a duo.
No, that's over 3. Come on, pin down. There you go. Knock down.
Bruh. This is bad.
You shouldn't play on our team. Game winner.
Oh, for 5.
This is about to go. This is about to go viral.
Practice.
Bruh. I can't explain.
Let me tell you something. I was warming up down there. I was throwing strikes from 60 feet away. And I got on that mound. and it looked like it was a mile away. I said, what the hell am I doing here? I said, what the hell am I doing here? And, it just, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. It was a choke job. I could do better than that. It was a choke job, and Stephen A. choked a little bit. I just did. It was straight, but damn it, I could do better than that.
Bit more context before I explain this full story. Let me add that Smith played 1 year of high school basketball. He rode the bench for the 1985-1986 Thomas Edison High team as a senior. In the book, he says his one season of prep basketball ended abruptly when he failed a single assignment in a single class. He didn't fail the class, he failed an assignment and was removed from the team. That's according to his book.
But now, guess what else he does during this mythical tryout? He shoots 17 threes in a row. Big House is so glamored and enormed by what he does, he offers him a full scholarship, which, by the way, Stephen A. has never played a game. This is what he said. A man who has never played a game, he went to one game but never played, but yet it shows in that other one we just brought up, the paperwork of a Stephen Smith averaging 1.5 points. But yet he's never played. Even Stephen A. got animated by that source and said, that is incorrect. I've never played. So where did ESPN get this, you've averaged 1 point? Because Molly did a whole theatric and put it there on screen comparing you with one they call JJ Redick and Jalen Rose. You feel me? What's going on with that?
But I have never lied to you. Ever.
Released a memoir in 2023 called Straight Shooter. I read it. It's farcical. When I listened to Katt Williams talk about Kevin Hart and Steve Harvey, my mind immediately drifted to Stephen A. Smith's memoir. Smith's story just doesn't add up. He, or his ghostwriter, claims he received a full basketball scholarship from Winston-Salem State after a one-day tryout in February of 1988. A former Winston-Salem State basketball player allegedly drove Smith from New York to North Carolina for a tryout after Smith impressed the former player during a one-on-one matchup on a playground court.
But I have never lied to you. Ever.
Patrick and put it there on screen comparing you with one they call JJ Redick and Jalen Rose. You feel me? What's going on with that? Which, by the way, she would break up with Jalen Rose and allegedly sleeping with you, sir. Allegedly.
Stephen A. Day, so let's keep it tight.
Stephen A.
Thank you very much. It is Stephen A. Day, baby.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
my day every day. On
2 minutes. Let's go. A minute 45.
The point that I'm trying to make to you.
Did you get a ring?
No.
It's gonna be fantastic.
did you see what he
Did you
did?
hear the open?
Did you see what he did, Caramel? Did you see what he did, Caramel?
Stephen A. is a flirt.
He did it one time, and he outdid you.
First of all, the caramel, look, I like it. It's nice. And I see the hair is lighter today. Because it's darker last week, but it's lighter today. Way to go, Molly Wood.
Not a crime scene, but a love scene might be.
Oh. I'm sure you've been practicing.
It is.
Oh,
I don't need
my goodness. Okay, Shaq's here. Goodbye.
She's not available. She's not available. Not for him. Not for him.
Wow.
Not for him. Not for him. That's why he's doing it.
It's unbelievable.
I try to move forward.
You know what it is,
Yeah, I try to move
JJ.
forward.
I'm rubbing off on him.
People will be like, Corey called her a hoe, but they ain't gonna say what she said about him. What's the bitch Stephen A. fucking? Molly Qerim.
I don't get on you,
What
but
if
the
you-
collar is not
if
what
you
it
go
do.
like a little wider with it?
Hey,
No.
Molly, don't do that.
Don't do that.
What if you just bring it out a little?
Elvis.
Y'all remember Disco Inferno, St. John Travolta,
then
something? Is
just
that what you got me
unbutton,
doing?
and then
Is that what you got me
unbutton
doing? We
And then just
gonna leave it right here.
unbutton. Just unbutton.
Absolutely, Tigress. Just like a rah. The bottom line is this, okay?
Video vibrating.
I try to say ring. Do you want me to say vibrating on the air? You always like me mentioning vibrating on the air with your phone. When you really want me to do that? When you really keep saying vibrating on the phone with your phone? I said ring it. Just go.
Fuck-eyed ass. Bitch, I saw you without that makeup on, goddammit. Jalen, you better be glad you got away from that bitch. Because you know they get really decrepit as they get older. Like, they really fall apart. That bitch is about to be nothing with some big eyes.
You feel me? What's going on with that? Which, by the way, she would break up with Jalen Rose and allegedly sleeping with you, sir. Allegedly sue if you have to, bruh. It's the pot's in the kettle, bruh. However that saying go. You're sleeping with Molly is what I feel and what I think. If you get mad, cry me a big river, I'm gonna make a movie spectacle out of this. Oh, I'll do you worse than what Jason Whitlock is doing, aka Fat Bastard. See, a lot of you don't like Jason Whitlock. I have my issues with him only regarding one thing. It was the Deion Sanders situation. Other than that, he does great journalism. Whether you think he fits this, that. See, the same black people, Stephen A. Smith is a hypocrite. Same black people who like to say, he told Jason, like, see, you like to think we're a monologue. We're all not monologue. That's a lie. Jason Whitlock, no matter how much you like him or not, he's went out his way over the years to express that black people are not a monologue. In fact, the very nature of what Jason Whitlock does, it proves we all don't think alike because we all look alike. According to you, Stephen A. Smith.
Because sometimes as black folks, we get in our own way. We think that all of us must be of one monolithic thinking, that we need to be completely and totally aligned. And any deviation from that brings into question our quote-unquote blackness. Martin Luther King was a man of peace. Malcolm X was by any means necessary. They can't possibly be on the same page. Even though their agendas was for the upliftment and the preservation of our race of people. So I understand when we talk about stuff like this.
It proves we all don't think alike because we all look alike. According to you, Stephen A. Smith, you're the one and your groupies expect all of us to look at you because you're on ESPN. We're supposed to cheerlead you and garnish to everything you say. But, sir, you have yet to respond towards any accusation towards you, whether it's Kwame Brown coming at you, whether it's anybody else, whether it's Max Kellerman, who appears to be more black than you. Oh, I'm offended by it. I'm so offended. You have to remove this man as your partner because dare we say the great Stephen A. Smith can never get challenged. Everything got to be circulated by you.
About this for a second. I'm supposed to be covering sports, but I make a career out of talking about my colleagues. That ain't work.
Say they saw the tension between you and Max developing on air before his departure from the show. Did you hear any of that?
I heard some of it. I would take full responsibility for that. That's totally my fault. Oh, and so that's what I was feeling. And it was like, you know, listen, I had mad respect from him from the standpoint that white dude, highly intelligent, Ivy League educated from Columbia. The absence of the two components left people wondering, why should we listen to you? Okay, well, you might have had that figured out on Sports Nation, or you might have had that figured out on another show. But on this show, if you looked at the content and all of that other stuff, and it wasn't really about asking him to be off the show. It was about the fact that I knew that we together, as far as I was concerned, was not a great partnership anymore. And that was something that needed to change.
Say the great Stephen A. Smith can never get challenged. Everything got to be circulated by you. It got to be created by you. You have to have hands on to make sure certain questions don't get geared towards you. Sir, you are a farce. You are a manipulated system, Ponzi sheep. I'm not going to say scheme, but sheep. You were implemented and put here to be part of this narrative that they've put out here. The ones that have made men emasculated, men more effeminate, men chow down to big industry.
Skit wearing a dress, and fans accused him of being a sellout.
The new pope is 9-year-old Oscar nominee, Kavenzhane Wallace. The first African American, the first female, and first child pope.
And it's not that Kevin wasn't
be part of this narrative that they've put out here, the ones that have made men emasculated, men more effeminate, men tow and chow down to big industry. Whether it's pharma, whether it's the food circuit, whether it's the government, no matter what part it is, you're part of that branch, sir. You are the hidden ghost. I love what Jason Whitlock called you, Stephen A. Smith, the myth. These people hate Jason Whitlock so much, they're the same group of people who call Stephen A. Smith walking Tom, Uncle Tom, however you would like to call it. But because they hate Jason Whitlock, they're there laughing. Everybody clap it up for Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith, you're talking about views compared to Jason Whitlock. Jason Whitlock is full throttle independent with the Blaze Network. We all know who's behind the Blaze Network. Not gonna get into that. They are independent. They said, fuck big establishment centers that you work for, and they went to do their own. You're by the industry. You're a puppet, Stephen A. Smith. Them views don't come by you for themselves. You're not that great, bro. Get over yourself. Gilbert's Arena platform is 10 times better than what you put out.
You know, recently I spoke on Allen Iverson's thoughts that the great Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba, should not be ahead of LeBron James on the all-time list as the greatest player in NBA history, or number 2 to Michael Jordan. And obviously there were people who took umbrage to that. One of them was former NBA player Rashad McCants, who expressed his opinions on what I said when he appeared on Gilbert Arenas' podcast.
For 20 years for our league, man, when I hear Stephen A. going off on these rants about how Kobe Bryant is not this and not that, you didn't have that energy when he was here. Mm-hmm. Where was that energy when he was alive? And stop bringing this man who passed to extend your narrative. Yeah. Why would Kobe be in the conversation for you to kill him off so LeBron can live higher than him? Right. It don't make no fucking sense.
You're not that great, bro. Get over yourself. Gilbert's Arena platform is 10 times better than what you put out. I don't watch some of these other people. There are lame content creators who have better sources than what you put out. But the thing is, people are like monkey see, monkey do. Whoever has the most views, they flood towards it. Even if it's boring as hell, it's something through the frequencies that go through their brain. They know they're not enjoying the content, but everybody else is watching, so they gotta be part of the ruckus. It's been like that, sir. Why can't you answer simple questions about your credentials? Yes, goddammit, credentials matter, because that entire book, Straight Shooters, you wrote is nothing but fabrications. And it does matter.
But I have never lied to you. Ever. My new book on paperback. I like it, I like it. I like it, I like it a lot. It works for me. It works for me, y'all see this. I didn't write it. I didn't write my own memoir, which, by the way, is a New York Times bestseller. But I have never lied to you. Ever.
Questions about your credentials. Yes, goddammit, credentials matter, because that entire book, Straight Shooters, you wrote is nothing but fabrications. And it does matter. Because to the same people who's mad at Jason Whitlock saying why does Jason care about Stephen A. Smith's background, his basketball goals? You're the same group of people who gave credit to Katt Williams for airing out Ricky Smiley and airing out Cedric the Entertainer, airing out Steve Harvey, Kevin Hart, and so many other people. Why couldn't you say, why does it matter who got the role in Next Friday? Why does it matter who played Santa and who played the pimp? But when
Lord have mercy, I'm tired of this runaway slave. Let me see what I got.
One at a time, players, one at a time. Busy right now, working with a monster.
You know what this is.
New boot.
Don't fight this shit.
Fight what shit?
Just let it happen.
Let it happen. What the hell you doing with the phone book, nigga? I ain't even in the phone, but what the...
role in Next Friday. Why does it matter who played Santa and who played the pimp? But when it comes to Jason Whitlock, aka Fat Bastard, because your groupie idol Stephen A. Smith who you love and cherish more says something, so you get the pounce and throw Jason Whitlock words like it's in the garbage. Oh, he doesn't count no more because you don't deride him. See, this whole world is not about who you love and who you like better. It's who has the actual truth, or who can, even if it's not the truth, who can present a case that's worth talking about, worth indulging, worth digesting, and worth investigating and speaking upon it and bringing it to light to have a proper form and a conversation. What's so hard about a damn conversation? And YouTube, don't restrict this video, because I watched Stephen A. Smith trying to be a gangster on his own platform. He's saying more cuss word now. I guess to be black, brown, and down, you gotta curse a lot. Right, Stephen A. Smith?
Jason Whitlock. I said that name. It's not a name I've uttered. I normally don't do that, but it's necessary to do now. I've had enough of that fat bastard. That piece of shit.
Word now, I guess to be black, brown, and down, you gotta curse a lot. Right, Stephen A. Smith? That's why I respect Jason Whitlock. He don't do the whole extra of, I gotta say this, I gotta say that. That ain't him, Jack. And for all you people who call Jason Whitlock or Uncle Tom or this and that, I've seen him be more vocal on topics that black brothers like Stephen A. Smith get scared to talk about. So I find it funny. Jason Whitlock is the Uncle Tom, but Stephen A. Smith, who doesn't touch on real topics that we care about, that hit home, he keeps dibbling around it. He's the Morgan Freeman of the internet world. He's the Kunta Kinte.
Your name is Toby. What's your name?
Kunta.
Lord God help that boy.
Of the internet world, he's the Kunta Kinte. The man, Stephen A. Smith, you said Jason Whitlock caters the network like Fox News and all this, but Stephen A. Smith, didn't Will Cain go to Fox News, the dude you still praise and love? Does he cater to Fox News? Stephen A. Smith, didn't you do several segments with them same news teams that you talked about, Jason Whitlock? I've got several videos of you on Fox News. So can I say, man, this man Stephen A. Smith a fool, man. He's saying Fox News and Jason Whitlock, but yet this dude got hundreds of videos on Fox News, bruh. Look at this man. This man literally on Fox News all the time. But yet Jason Whitlock is Uncle Tom because he's on Fox News. Then what is Stephen A. Smith on Fox News? Right. News teams that you talked about, Jason Whitlock, I've got several videos of you on Fox News. So can I say the same accusations about you catering to white people? I've watched Michelle Beadle despise you and embarrass you in front of the whole media world. You claim you don't talk about former colleagues and all that. You're a fucking liar. Yes, you do.
Never feel clean again. B, I'm now aware that I can provoke my own beating. She fired off another. I'm thinking about wearing a miniskirt this weekend. I'd hate to think what I'd be asking for by doing so. At Stephen A. Smith, hashtag don't provoke. In another, Beadle said, violence isn't the victim's issue, it's the abuser's. To insinuate otherwise is irresponsible and disgusting. Walk away. She message that we not provoke is wrong.
Almost as if when you all work for the same company and the loudest of the mouthpieces is sort of getting all the spotlight. In my mind, the idea that the rest of the world thinks that we condone those thoughts or that no way, man. And not only that, but you're working with a ton of women and a ton of strong women. And
talking about the guys, we know you have no business putting your hands on a woman. But I'm going to have to remind myself that, and this is what I've done this all my life. Your brother or our part in making sure that that doesn't happen. Now you got some dudes that are just hardy, and I think that just talking about what guys shouldn't do, we got to also make sure that you can do your part to do whatever you can do to make to try to make sure it doesn't happen. We know.
I'm all right. Just want to know how you're holding up after everything.
Well, man, deal with the things that you do.
Have you heard from or reached out to Michelle Beadle at all? No. No? Do you think you'll be hearing from her anytime soon?
Doesn't matter. We're colleagues. She's a professional. She's a great person.
Morning. On Friday, speaking right here on First Take on the subject of domestic violence, I made what can only amount to the most egregious error of my career. While elaborating on thoughts concerning the NFL's ruling that it is somehow a woman's fault, this was not my intent. It is not what I was trying to say.
So can I say the same accusations about you catering to white people? I've watched Michelle Beadle despise you and embarrass you in front of the whole media world. You claim you don't talk about former colleagues and all that. You're a fucking liar. Yes, you do. And when Michelle Beadle did to it, you didn't come at her with the same viscera because you're scared of white people. But you're not scared of fat bastards, right? Why didn't you call him fat bastard in your last response? Did the network get to you and say, Stephen A. Smith, calm down for a little bit? And you didn't want to look like the bully or bad guy, so you're trying to act like you're the guy being bullied? Bro, you can't write this script better than you could. I want everybody to notice, no matter how petty you think it is, because you didn't think Katt Williams one was petty, so give it the same energy you gave Katt Williams. Why haven't Stephen A. Smith talked about any of the accusations being thrown against him and at him? Why hasn't any real teammates ever come to speak in defense for Stephen A. Smith? Only one real teammate spoke, and he didn't even help Stephen A. Smith with that at all, because he said a lot of the things he didn't even remember. Stephen A. did this, X, Y, and Z, that. But it doesn't matter to you people. Exactly. Why lie about such a small thing? And ladies and gentlemen, that small thing, that's what she said, that small thing is the very reason why I got my eye open towards Stephen A. Smith. And I want to ask the question to Stephen A. Smith, the myth. Who are you? My nigga, who sent you here? Who are you? Stephen A. Smith, the myth.
Not deny it. I think he's a fat, no good bastard who I despise to the core.
On his
Trump dummy. So hit her with T-Sweat. And now her panties all wet. Came back around, spin the black with sock out fat. DJ Blessone.
I smoke G-Mike with the magic, eat my dog, he died in traffic with that brand new Glock 380. Went to see the voodoo lady, I'm on hot shit right now. That woo done turned me crazy. With a brand new black Mercedes, it's a stay la vie, my baby. I see so many Z's, it look like double Z's. OMG, red and blue flag hanging on my back, extra swag. 90210, you know I'm from the road. That rock and roll, I'm motherfucking Lauderdale. With the sack, 3 for sale. Yeah, I'm on that Adderall, can't you tell? Yeah, I might be on that perk. Send no feelings on my shirt. Send no slipping on alert. Smoke, roll, puff in the perk. Hit that slide with a cha-cha shirt. I hit playing, you might get murdered. Jada shot so many ops and even fed no more. Sing along. 95. I done see my days go by, still ain't had no alibi. Hoping, wish them days stay high. Baba cool, I'm on that sippin', I smoke G-Mike with the magic, he my dog, he died in traffic. With that brand new Glock 380, went to see the voodoo lady. I'm on hot shit right now. That woo done turned me crazy. With a brand new black Mercedes, it's a stay la vie, my baby. I see so many Z's, it look like double Z's. OMG, red and blue flag hanging on my back, extra swag. 90210, you know I'm from the roads. Rock and roll, I'm motherfucking Lauderdale. With the sack, 3 for sale. Yeah, I'm on that Adderall, can't you tell? Yeah, I might be on that perk. Send no feelings on my shirt. Send no slipping on alert. Smoke, roll, puff in the perk. Hit that slide with a cha-cha herb. I hit play, you might get murdered. I smoke G-Mike with the magic. He my dog, he died in traffic. With that brand new Glock 380. Went to see the voodoo lady. I'm on hot shit right now. That woo done turned me crazy. With a brand new black Mercedes, it's a stay la vie, my baby. I see so many Z's, it look like double Z's. OMG, red and blue flag hanging on my back, extra the swag. 90210, you know I'm from the roads. Rock and roll, I'm motherfucking Lauderdale. With the sack, 3 for sale. Yeah, I'm on that Adderall, can't you tell? Yeah, I might be on that perk. Send no feelings on my shirt. Send no slipping on alert. Smoke, roll, puff in the perk. Hit that slide with a cha-cha shirt. Out here playing, you might get murked.